everyone, welcome to my Shoreline Studio. I'm Sybille Muschik, behind the camera is Joshua Blanc. Today we're talking about cloisonné. Now I have a couple of examples here. This is a cute little egg. I have a very small egg collection and this is one piece in it. And here's just a little container and you can see the enameling. So cloisonné basically is enameling and with some gold lining around the objects that they've drawn on. This is Chinese, but cloisonné has been popular in France and around Europe. And you can see the fine filigree work that's, put around all the different aspects of the little flowers that they've painted on here. And they're painted on, and then they fire them, and then everything sort of goes together. You can feel that it's raised. The flowers are raised, and then they put the gold on there. Now this probably is just a metal leaf. This wasn't a very expensive egg. Anyway, so we're going to do a faux kind of cloisonné, and I want to show you a couple of examples. So this is my first one, and you can see that we don't have really exacting lines like you would with the proper cloisonné, but it's a fun thing to do, to try with your gel plate, and it does shine very spectacularly. Now this has already been varnished. I have the varnish here that this is a size for it. You put that down before you put the gold leaf on it. When it dries, it's a little bit tacky for a number of hours. Now, I looked it up online. It said anywhere from a couple of hours to a full day. So now this is a water-based size. There are also oil-based sizes. And here's the gold leaf satin sealer that I was talking about, and that's on this one. And that stops it from oxidizing and turning brown over time. This one I haven't sized yet. And the size is pretty specific for gold leaf. So when you buy a kit for gold leafing, be sure that your varnish comes with it. The other varnishes might not work, so it's all, properly put together in a chemical way. Now I'm sure we'll try and see if the camera can pick up the shimmer of it. It's really quite spectacular. And then, your background, if you want it darker, then the gold shines more. If you want it lighter, then it just sort of sets off. I didn't put gold on here, but I have some folk art metallic gold that I've mixed with the paint, so this part is shimmery. And then, you want to keep this fairly spectacular, and it would be very nice in cards, or even a piece of artwork that you can hang on the wall. So, and just the nature of it, you're not going to get any really crisp lines, but just sort of having these abstract shapes is going to be, interesting. And as you do it, you probably will get, a little bit more refined. I'm using a very tiny brush. This is a 0 for applying the sizing, this stuff. Now the name of the brand is L'Adore. But I'm sure there's lots of different ones out there. I think I got it just at the local arts and crafts store. And, Amazon, whatever, you can get all that kind of thing. So we're all set up now. And first we have to get this egg shape. So I've sort of messed around with this shape to begin with to get the egg shape. And then use that. And I will have a template, and we're just going to redraw my pencil lines. and try and keep it as even as possible. And then okay, this is just Mylar. Now place it in a nice position for your stencil and mask. You can line it up with the, I've got a self-healing cutting board here. Now it doesn't have to be totally symmetrical unless you want it that way. So just redraw this on here, just with a little Sharpie. Okay. Now I have my trusty X-Acto knife here that I use for everything. And again, you know, if there's a shaky line, you can correct it with a cut. And I'm just turning as I'm cutting, which makes it easier. Now if you have a Sizzix or a machine like that, and it's easy, it just cuts it for you. But they're not exactly reasonable or inexpensive. So if you like, you can you know, clean the edges off, maybe with a little bit of alcohol wipe or something like that, and otherwise it might get into your artwork. So I've just sprayed the back of the egg with Krylon spray adhesive, and I cleaned up the egg with the pen with Adirondack alcohol blending solution that you use for alcohol inks, so that works good. So now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to register, which we've done. This is good paper, Robert Bateman drawing paper. And this is my Galleria cadmium red. Goes really nice with the gold. All the rest of my paints are the Amsterdam paints, and this is just a folk art metallic gold. We'll mix a little bit of that in there. Not a lot. We might mix it a little bit too in here. Although if it has a bit of a mottled tone to it, it's all to the good. Gives some interest to the background. So this is our background tone. Now this is the first time we place the egg. Now this is where the adhesive is. So we're just going to place this down. And you know, you can make it symmetrical if you want, or off one way or the other, or up and down. Just judge it for yourself. And then we're going to print. Now, I don't know if you've noticed this, but over time the gel plates stretch a little bit. So my 8 by 10 gel plate is now about 8 by 10 1/4. Right, okay, so far so good. And we can remove this now. And we're going to just use this base to do our painting. Now, I have a stencil, and we're going to just add maybe one more tone of gold and yellow on here, just to lighten this because we're going to need to print it. So, and more gold. And the reason we didn't remove it is because we want to put the stencil in the right place. So, and that's the only way you're going to be able to do it. So here we go. And also by bring over it to take some of that base color away. Tricky stuff. Okay, back over you go. And we print. And then you let that layer dry because you're going to be using the using a stencil. And that's looking really nice. Okay, we're going to take an interlude here. So I have my rose stencil. This is a Naniki one from Amazon. They have a bunch of little stencils. Works pretty good on the gel plate. And you can see it adheres really well. You just push it down. But we're going to be painting it directly. And I've just put out my, I think I indicated these paints, you know, are acrylic and Amsterdam, and just light yellow, green, yeah. And then one of these is Liquitex. This is cadmium red deep, and another Liquitex, Alizarin crimson. Notice how nice the writing is on this. I'm always complaining. This is diazazine violet, I think. Can't read it. Anyway. And our blue is, can't read this either. But it's brilliant blue, I think it's called. Anyway. So let's paint these in, and just using my zero brush. So you have to figure out, because everything reverses with gel plate printing, you know, where's your light source going to be? So it's probably coming from our left side, which is usually, so because it flips, then you'll be doing yellow on this side. So everything that's on the lit side, do your yellow. And maybe this part's in shadows. So. Now you can use, you know, a stencil brush, but I think I like the paint really look better. And maybe just the tip has got a little bit of light on it here. Okay, these could probably be darker, so just a touch. And these ones could be quite bright. And these, I imagine, just the tips because they'd be in shadow from the rose. And this is the dark side. And now we're getting into the regular green. Again, be mindful of your time because, you know, acrylics dry pretty fast. You could add a little bit of retarder to the paint if you want. It's fairly cool in here this morning, so I think we're going to be fine. For doing the cloisonné, whatever design you pick, keep it fairly simple and large shapes. This is almost a little too fuzzy already, so. But then we're not going to be doing really fine filigree work. But of course you can. Some people just have that ability to do these really fine lines, and so this might be really engaging for you. Something to, like people who love Zentangles and like the neatness of it, that's perfect. Okay, getting into our shadows. And just a touch of blue adds, you know, a little bit of je ne sais quoi. Okay, so much for leaves. Sure, a couple things up. You can retouch anything after it's printed, of course, which I did in the other one, so not a big deal. Now, clean your brush nice. Starting with our lightest red here at the top. And you can see with a stencil, this goes fairly quickly. It's just what you want to bring to the plate, what colors, the range of tone. You can make it as interesting and spectacular as you like. Don't forget you have that orange color underneath, so things are going to get a little bit darker. And this one we'll keep on the lighter side. All right, then going to the deeper red in the middle. And then finally our purple. I'm adding the purple into the flowers because we're going to have purple in that background tone. So it's always nice to have whatever colors you're using in your composition. Otherwise you have sort of what I call foreign colors in the work, and you've introduced something that doesn't seem to fit at all. Okay, so carefully lift your stencil. I'm not going to do the butterfly, just takes up too much time, but you saw it in that first piece. But you can add whatever other stencils you want. The butterfly was nice at the bottom, and it took the gold leaf very well too, so. Okay, now I can't show you this very much directly because it's got to stay registered, but you can see a little bit. Maybe we'll get Josh to take a different shot of it, and then you can see where it's at. And you can see I've got to do a little bit more on it to shore up the colors. Okay, now we replace our little egg mask. Make sure it's in the right place. Once you get a couple lined up, the rest will follow. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we take our purple and gold. And by putting the mask down, we're protecting that base layer. Make sure it's dark enough. And then you can just roll it right over top of the mask, stencil mask, no, whatever. And that creates the darkness and sets the egg off. Well, by the time you get to see this, you'll have had Easter or Passover or whatever religious holiday you observe at this time of the solstice. We're going to need to take this off first. Otherwise we have a very dark egg too. Right. And then you'll see that's really spectacular. Very nice. Okay. Now we have to wait for this layer to dry, and then we put our sizing on, and then we need, I've been doing it after 15 minutes. If you put it on lightly enough, like not very deep, it will dry in about 15 minutes and be tacky enough to, to take the gold leaf. And the last part's tricky because gold leaf gets everywhere, but it'll be fun. I have a few tricks up my sleeve to deal with that. So, okay, so we will see you in a flash after we take this interesting break that Josh will put together for us. Well, things are coming along pretty nicely so far. So now we're at the point where we can actually remove our artwork from the plate. Everything seems to have dried. But we do need to show up some of the painting a little bit. Alrighty, so starting with our red. And then I'll have the edges of the sizing more secure. See, now our highlights are on the left side. I had to think about that. Do you know that? Do you know that people don't naturally, like instantly have access to left and right if we have to think about it? Animals, on the other hand, like dogs and things, you can teach them left and right very easily, and they never fail to get it right. And I think this is where the expression "your other right" or "your other left" comes in, because this is a natural human foible. I'm using a zero brush because, you know, these things are very tiny, and I tend to use the biggest brush possible when I'm painting, but in this case, there's a certain amount of delicacy involved. Almost like toll painting. And I'm really not a proficient toll painter because you have to be so exacting, and craftsmen, you know, that's why they call them craftsmen, because they do a meticulous job. And painting often is, you know, expression or impressionistic. You know, we have brushstrokes all over the place, and it's more about a feeling or an intent, like a concept, and not so much about the ability to get a line, a beautiful line. Not that you shouldn't practice and, you know, work towards a certain amount of proficiency. That's what drawing exercises are for. But often in the painterly effect, you don't want it too perfect. Then it's stiff. So even here, this is why, you know, touching up helps. It creates an ambiance. So far, so good. And again, we have to just let that dry. And we'll be right back. So this is our special size for gold leaf and Lador, and design size. And we're just gonna, instead of dipping it out of there, I'm just gonna put it on here. So ever so little. We're trying to, you know, emulate that very fine filigree line. So just take your time, do the best you can, and you know, even you know, little wobbles and things, if you gold leaf it, are really going to be interesting. We're not trying to get a really delicate line on. But we can give the impression of that. How's that? Now apparently the water-based size which I'm using will stay active, that is sticky, for about 22 hours. I haven't found that myself. I don't know why, but I think it has to do with, it might have been warmer in here last night. As I mentioned, it's a bit on the cool side in the studio. So possibly. And I'm doing a very small amount. You're not going to get everything to stick. And actually you don't really want to. You won't have that certain look. You don't need to spell everything out. We actually have a video, and Josh will post it, about, you know, leaving something to the imagination. Let the eye finish, you know, make the closure. So this will dry in approximately 15 minutes, enough to start gold leafing. Now, of course, you could do a design where you're, you know, these leaves are just outlines, and you know, gold leaf the whole thing. You know, go for it. You could do a box or something, and with a design and gold leaf on it. Anything's possible. We'll be working some more with this in the future, I think. And too much gold doesn't look good either, so just be aware. So, maybe for this one we will actually do the outside of the egg. Run the brush down sideways. Now there's another thing, you know, you could do if you need to follow a line. And with the other two, I used my Sketch and Wash graphite pencil, and I outlined the areas that I wanted the gold leaf to be. And then when you put it on, the Sketch and Wash, actually, because it's a water base as well, will go dark, and then you can really see where you put this, you know, size. And it'll be a bit rough, even on the outside edge, which should be interesting. So now one final peek. I'm just looking where the shine is to make sure I haven't missed anything. And I think we're pretty good. So because this is a sizing and it's sticky, clean off with water, because it's water-based, and then add a little bit of detergent and rub it in your hand to get it all off your brush. And then you're good to go. So now we need to wait 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. And we were hoping to go for a walk, see the creek, and maybe see if there's spawners, but I think the weather is a bit challenging today. It's like blowing up a storm, and there's whitecaps on the water. Oh, and our lake is clear again, which is nice. We have all sorts of golden eye, both the common and the Barrel's golden eye are here in front of our place. Just enjoying them so much. So we will see you in a flash. Okay, well, we're ready for the interesting part here with our gold leaf. So it comes in these sheets, and a bunch of them. And we're going to try and transfer it to this thing, and just comes up like a charm. Now I don't know if you saw that or not. Now the people who use gold leaf a lot, this thing is usually a little rounded leather pouch kind of thing, and they put the gold on there. What we're going to do is try and control as much as possible, and this is just foam. They're both foam. One is black and one is okay. And so we start at the top here, and as we're working our way along, we'll just keep pulling this out. Now you need to burnish it, so so fingers work, and a wooden spoon, whatever you have on hand. You know where the sizing is, so you can pretty well put it there. And where the sizing isn't, the gold will just break off, and you know, you try and control the mess to some degree. So fingers seem to work the best for burnishing stuff. And whatever pieces you have left here on the top can go along the sides, where we've put a little bit of the sizing. And so just work slowly, work it in, and the glue should hold the and then they'll come away wherever it's not sized. It's a bit finicky and messy. And you'll find your own way of working your way through it. Having these little foam things does help. And I'm just placing the gold leaf. No, it's not gold leaf, it's metal leaf. So the gold leaf, because it is gold, is heavier, so it's probably not quite as flighty. And it may stick better. But this stuff is just all over the place. And next time we do it, we'll have some solid things. To work with. It's going not too badly here. And we just need to get it over to some of these leaves. Now there's various brands of sizing, so they all do pretty well the same stuff, but you know, maybe some work better than others. I don't know. This is the one that was available to me, and I got it at an art supply store, so you just hope for the best. but some may work better than others. If you're doing a lot of it, I would probably test a few different brands. So once you have stuff stuck down to your satisfaction, I'm going to burnish it a little bit more, and we're going to put a piece of copy paper over top. Take the wooden spoon to it. I have my handy assistant helping me, so just give it a good burnishing here. Make sure that it sticks. Like I said, it won't be perfect like the other ones. They're just interesting. It's a fun process and certainly worth trying. Really looks spectacular. Now I have a little bag for all the excess. And all you do is just take a brush and gently brush it away. Now that one spot, I guess, didn't get enough sizing. But if you're all that glitters into that kind of thing, just wanted to make sure that it's not sticking there. And I'm not sure why. Then you just gently brush it off. Gather it all up. Once it sticks, you know, pretty good and doesn't come up again. You got gold leaf where you shouldn't have, well, and it sticks to it, you may not get it off again. That's just the way it goes. Okay. Now it's probably not a problem with it being in the air because it's not, the particles are too big to breathe in, so. But you can, you know, wear a safety mask if you feel you should. Just don't get too crazy with the sticky tape or everything will come up. So we kind of lost it there, but that's okay. Like I said, you have a bit of time. I might try and stick that down more later. Some of this should come up. That's better. Yeah. Just a little bit too much there and a little bit too much there. So you can adjust it a little bit. If it comes up, it wasn't all that, it wasn't sticking to begin with. Well, okay, cloisonné and metal leaf, well, gold leaf. You know, if you're lucky enough to actually work with gold leaf, let me know, and be sure to leave your comments on Instagram and on our shorts and on our Shoreline Studio site. I'd love to hear from you. I answer everything I can. And it might take time because I might not see them all because I get comments from previous videos. I usually get notification and I do the best I can to answer them. So don't forget to take care of yourself and do lots of artwork and take care of your families. Be kind to one another. Bye for now.